Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the 1,701st meeting of the Southern Berkshire Regional School District School Committee meeting to order at 6:03. First on the agenda are standing reports. We do not have minutes to approve tonight. We will pass that. Correspondence, we don't have anything. We'll reference some things later with finance. But we do have an enrollment report, so pass that to our superintendent.
Bye.
So as of 4/1, we are holding steady with the last 3 months. February 1st, March 1st, and only down 1 from the start of the school year. Obviously, overall, we are down 2 from where we started. We're down 7 from our high water mark in November of 600. Proud to have all the ones that are here. Hoping to get some more as we go forward.
Right, excellent. Okay, does anyone have any questions about enrollment report? No? Okay. Now, like that. 3. Let's see, we do have a student representative report tonight.
Ben's here somewhere.
Yeah?
He was out on the bench in the hall.
Oh,
He told me he was coming in.
oh. Thank you, Tricia.
He was doing homework.
Oh. All right. Well, we'll get him in here.
Good evening, Ben. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
So just so you know, that won't amplify your voice, but that'll make it possible for folks that are watching to hear you clearly.
Awesome.
That should be Jim.
Awesome. Okay.
Glass.
We'll do so. Hello, everyone. Today I'm just going to be going over some events that are going on around our school. First of all, spring sports is fully in swing. We've had a lot of great wins from a lot of our teams, including I want to give a special shout out to our R.S.D boys baseball team, who has gotten 4 wins in a row, and they're going to have another match today, so hopefully we can make that 5. We also have tennis going on. They have a game today in Pittsfield. Girls softball and track and field has a game tomorrow. Looking forward to. Junior Student Council is also hoping to work with some of those sports teams to provide concessions and make some money for our school and our community. I hear the drones team is doing super well. 2 of them made it to the Eastern Regional Championships, so congratulations to them. That's amazing. And also the 8th grade trip is going to be beginning next week from Wednesday to Friday, and they're going to be visiting around the Capitol. They're going to be visiting the National Mall, Library of Congress, various museums, and I hear they're also going to be speaking to U.S. Senator Ed Markey. So that's super exciting. Speaking of trips, the senior trip is fully in planning now. We just recently announced as a senior class that we're going to be visiting New York City. So we made that decision, and we're currently planning the details on what we want to do, how we're going to do the overnight, the accommodations, and all of that. So hopefully we'll tell you more about that in the future. And finally, the super big thing, we now have the announcement of the 2026 prom. It's going to be Friday, May 15th at Pittsfield Country Club, and the theme is going to be Nights in Europe. In particular, our culinary program is going to be working with the junior class that's organizing the prom to make some culinary delights from all around Europe. Those will be provided at the prom, and I think it'll, make it a really great experience. That's about all from me. Those are all some really exciting things that are going on. Finally, last of all, the thing that obviously we're all looking forward to is spring break. So.
Yeah.
And that'll sort of wrap up the next few weeks for us students.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Does anyone have any questions of Ben? I think he did a great recap of what's happening and what's going on. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Nice to see you.
All righty. Okay, next on the agenda, we're passing over student spotlight, so we will move into public comment. Is there any public comment at this time? I think I see a hand. Yes, Marie. Okay.
Marie came in Sanesfield. I did a little digging because of the word misinformation being out there. So it's kind of ironic that one of the things I was actually looking at was the role of the treasurer in the school district. And now I'm really confused because she signed this document on 3/28/25 when it's for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 26. But in any event, I went back to the budget package for the fiscal year 26 budget process. And in it, it says the timeline. And your former superintendent put, Finance Subcommittee convenes to discuss general budget and direction for the upcoming fiscal year in November. So apparently that's not true. And that's not misinformation, it would be fact. I also once again went back to the school committee handbook. In it, it says, the school committee is responsible for appointing the treasurer. And it should be noted that the school committee doesn't really have any authority over this individual once that person is hired. It would be the superintendent. So this person was appointed on 11/16/23, 11/25/24, 11/12/25. Now, I don't know if you know this, but this is not only the Commonwealth of Massachusetts state law, but her responsibility is to prepare and submit to the school committee quarterly and annual reports showing all monies received and the sources, all monies dispersed and the purposes for which expended, and the balance of the general and special funds of the school committee. This individual, I've never met her, don't know her, never had her on the agenda, never seen a quarterly report on the agenda. I went back 2 years to look at the minutes, and that person has never been here. She's paid $17,000 a year. Granted, it's a part-time position, but if people here are asking, the former leadership and finance committee chair people are asking for quarterly reports, why aren't you asking the treasurer? Would be my question. Never has that been on any agenda or minutes. So it is state law because it does say that, and I can give you the statute, but it
Marie,
does
we've
say.
got just a few more minutes left with our
Okay,
time.
then I'm
I
gonna
just
get
wanted
to-
to tell you, we are trying to keep
All right, well, let me
track
get
of
to
that,
this because
even
this
though
was
I did not
posted
announce
in the
3-minute thing.
I don't know, Berkshire Eagle. And I'm going to just say, it was posted by Kimberly Lynn, we know who that is, and you said the letter from Alfred was not acknowledged in the meeting.
It wasn't.
It was. It wasn't discussed. But, so I think you need, if you don't want misinformation out there, that letter, everybody had it. School committee members, the public, the press. So don't say it wasn't acknowledged. It was. Julie chose not to discuss it because she did say you all received it. Oh, I can wait for the other stuff for the end. Thank you.
I will change
Thank
that one
you.
word.
Okay. Anyone else for public comment?
Amy Murray, 95 Salisbury Road. So 2 weeks ago, I was a little dismayed by some of the comments and actions that were taken at that last school committee meeting. One question was raised about how to prevent this budget crisis from ever happening again. And although we all know we can't change the state or the governor's timeline for releasing their actual figures on some of the reimbursement for transportation and other things, one thing that can be done every year in a negotiation year is to start negotiating earlier. Last year, the Teachers Association sent a letter in September asking to open the process, and we did not begin meetings until January. So instead of having the salary increase be a mystery number, an estimate, that could actually be a real figure if the process was started by the school committee in the timely fashion that we've asked. And I don't think in my 29 years here, we've ever had a negotiation settled by budget time in March, but that's something that can be fixed by starting to negotiate earlier. We actually changed our bylaws so that we couldn't vote after June 1st anymore because too many times contracts were coming to us in the last week of school where we didn't care and we just wanted to get to summer vacation. So we corrected that on our end, and I think corrections can happen on your end so that's no longer a mystery figure and won't add to the budgetary crisis that's happening. Earlier in this process, it stated that the funds for the negotiation raises were not able to be located in this year's budget. And since that statement was made, I've yet to hear an update on all the meetings I'm attending to see if that has been fixed, rectified, found, and curious where that stands in terms of this year. I know you can't comment, but hopefully during the meeting, I'm going to hear that information. 2 weeks ago, we also had a member of the school committee speak out about bad press and letters to the editor, and some tried to guess or speculate the motives as to why people would do that. Small ponds, 5 minutes of fame, etc. Well, I would say that our founding fathers ensured that everyone has the right to freedom of speech, to be involved, and whether that's at the federal, state, or even the school district level. I don't think guessing motives, belittling people, or bullying others into silence is the way to handle any problem. We've had many years in this district where many people felt that they could not speak freely. We've had people resign from this committee due to how our past administrators were treating school committee members. I think nobody in this environment wants to return to that way of handling business. I would rather see our district admit we have problems, see hardworking, caring people roll up their sleeves, get to work and fix it, than pretend that things are okay and sweep it under the rug. I do think it's important for members of this committee to remember you're elected by the people. You represent the people, you are accountable to the people, and therefore, if the people have questions, they're going to expect answers. That's kind of how this process works, and I don't think people that stand up here and ask questions should be belittled for it. Now, recently, an ex-school committee member also wrote to the editor and mentioned our previous superintendent as a financial wizard.
Amy, you're getting
Just
close.
out. I don't agree with that assessment, but there was some wizardry at work when she was here because people were under a spell, did not ask about the process, did not ask about clarifying questions, kind of rubber stamped anything. Hopefully tonight, we can hear more about the state of this year's budget. If this year is on track, what is causing the deficit for next year? If it's not leading over to next year, why is there a deficit for this year if it's not caused by last year? Hopefully some of that can be made more clear later tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else with public comment tonight?
For time.
Hi, good evening. Tricia Zuko from 231 Healy Hill Road in Sheffield. I'm a nurse here and mom of an 11th grader, and I have some comments and requests. I repeat this over and over again in my safety presentations that students learn better when they feel safe and secure. Subliminally, there's a blanket of calm and ease as they navigate their day with us. The same applies to the people who fill this building every day to teach and nurture these children. When staff feel supported, listened to, and are secure in their employment, they work with a lighter heart and palpable energy. Well, if you take a walk through the halls during the day now, the tension and sinking morale are palpable. I hate to beat a dead horse, but just for one more second, we didn't wake up one day and discover this budget fiasco on our doorsteps. It was developed over time, and now there's a crunch that we're all feeling. I have zoomed into these meetings, as I watch, I see the focus feels like there's a shift from the well-being of our kids and livelihood and stability of our educators, but rather to some power struggles at the table. These meetings are awkward and a little uncomfortable to watch, if I'm honest. Whatever personal conflicts, opposing opinions, or vendettas that are happening at the table, they are toxic to your work. And you have very hard jobs. It's a lot of work. It's something I know that I couldn't do. The bickering and blame tossed around, some of the eye rolls and aggression just is uncalled for. So my first request, please think about exactly why you want to sit at this table as many hours as you do. Personal feelings aside, it would benefit you to work as a team because we all count on you. You are our voice to the towns. You work hard at this table at decision making, and they affect thousands of us. Please have the best intentions. The behavior trickles down to us and from us to the children, and they are the ones who really will suffer. We feel it and they feel it. I don't know how many people here have decades of teaching experience, a doctorate in education, or 15 years experience as a superintendent, but there is someone who does. Dr. Rickett is a class act and one of the best things to walk through these doors. He's here before all of us in the morning and he leaves after most of us at night. He walked into the building eager to be a part of this small SBRSD family, and our mess was dumped in his lap. My second request, please work with him, not against him. In the Massachusetts Association of School Committee Rules and Governance, on page 7, it states, what makes a great school committee member, it states they are courageous. They confront issues, not people. Please be courageous. My third request, please be careful when speaking about confidential school business in the public amongst the community, because not all of your conversations are private. We should be the SBRSD family that we say we are. One team, not several, for the good of all of us.
Thank you. Other public comment?
3.
Hearing none, thank you. We will continue.
Carl.
Oh,
Carl.
Carl.
Apologies. I've had an afternoon from hell, and I wanted to be there in person, but it would have been, so I'm going to Zoom, but I'll try to be as active as I would have been had I been there. And I don't know no one knows what that means, but we'll see.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Glad to know you're with us. Thank you. Okay, we'll continue to our business manager's report. Approval of warrants, and I believe TJ is there with us. Hello, TJ.
How's it going?
Here we are. How are you?
I'm not aware of a warrant that needs to be approved at this meeting. That something right in the package related to approval of the invoices and bills.
Okay, very good. Well, we're voting to accept grants and gifts. We've received our $500 donation from Marie Kamens for the Kindness Award, and we need to vote to accept that.
I move that we accept the $500 donation from Marie Kamen, the Kindness Award.
Second.
Okay, very good. So the motion's been made and seconded that we will accept the $500 donation from Marie Kamens for the Kindness Award. Is there any discussion? I just want to thank Marie for her generosity.
Indeed.
We greatly appreciate
Indeed.
that you're doing that.
Indeed.
Any other discussion? Then we'll do a roll call vote. Jim?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
And Nancy?
Yes.
And Carl?
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's unanimously approved, and thank you again, Marie. We also have a $500 donation from an anonymous donor to the elementary revolving account. If someone would like to move to accept that.
Motion to accept the $500 donation from an individual or more than one to the elementary revolving account.
Second.
Okay, all right, motion by Bonnie, seconded by Art, that we will accept a $500 donation from anonymous donor to the elementary revolving account. Brian?
I can give some context. It's specifically for gas, for when we use the Marshmallow buses, noting the rising cost of gas, targeted specifically for the elementary school.
That's
Very good.
It was very kind.
That's
Very,
nice
very
detail.
kind, very thoughtful. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Any other comments on that? Okay, then we'll take a roll call vote. Jim?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Nancy? Yes, I saw the lips.
I did
Yes.
too.
I didn't hear it. I
No,
think
I
you
saw
were
it.
muted,
I-
but. Yes! Yeah, okay. Sorry, Nancy. Carl?
He's
He
muted.
apparently abstained.
I was gonna say, maybe Carl had to do something with his.
Agreed.
No, I couldn't.
Okay.
Automatically, I don't know why, but I'm a yes.
You're a yes. Thank you very much. All right, we didn't get you. All right, we are unanimous in
you, Julie.
accepting that donation.
Yeah.
Oh, and myself, yes, it's a yes. It is yeah, exactly, thank you. And budget transfers, TJ, I don't think we have any budget transfers tonight, right?
Correct.
Okay, we'll pass that. Chairman's report, it certainly has been a very, very busy time. I actually, yes,
When will TJ be going over the back half of this?
under the budget update,
Did I miss it?
it got amended. We missed it. I put that on multiple agendas this week, and I
Thank you.
realized this afternoon that I forgot to put it there. Yeah, so thank you, Kim. Yeah, no, my error, not
Ma'am,
getting it on
point
the
of
next
order.
one.
Could we amend the agenda in the future to say chairperson's report?
Oh, what an interesting idea. Sure, we can do that. Yeah, let's try to remember that. The one thing I was going to say, I know MASC has some great workshops coming up in the near future, and I have recently signed up for a few more of those, and one is on advocacy and State House and all of those kinds of things. So I'm trying to pay attention to those opportunities when they do arise. And other for Chairman's report, certainly our focus has been on budget, which we'll hear more about that, and moving forward with contractual issues that we're trying to wrap up and that sort of thing. So we're definitely busy, and that will be the end of Chairman's report tonight with all the other work. Superintendent's report.
So speaking of advocacy, I sent an email last night to Senator Mark that I copied the chair and the vice chair on. The Senate was taking a vote today on additional funding for education. I shared some of the specific struggles that we're seeing here in southern Berkshire, and while I haven't gotten a response, I'm certain that others in the area and across the state were emailing their elected representatives, particularly in the Senate, due to the vote. Also noteworthy this week, and I shared this with a lot of our young people at lunch, the House was voting on whether or not to ban social media for young people under the age of 14, as well as a potential cell phone ban in schools. The first part did not raise the eyebrows of too many young people in the lunchroom. The second part got the attention of many of our young people in the lunchroom, and so I told them I'd keep them apprised of that. Along with that, the Superintendent's Advisory Council held their No One Sits Alone today for elementary school students. I went around and ensured that that was indeed the case. For our middle and high school students, they are working on a movie night to be determined for later in the spring, perhaps into the month of June. And then in terms of the work on the budget, which as Ms. Hannum said has been ongoing for weeks, we received an informal email from the town of Sheffield indicating that in order to support us and be sure that our numbers are as accurate as possible, they would be open to taking us off of the regular town meeting day cycle and hold a special vote in June. We've also received formal notification this week from both New Marlborough and Egremont that they would do the same. And so we are waiting to hear from the other two towns. It sounds to me that this has been a discussion item. And obviously, if that does come to fruition, it would give us what I routinely call the gift of time to be sure that our numbers are correct. And what I would add to that, because I know we have several representatives from our towns here, is that it feels to me as though it's a great show of collaboration. It is a difficulty and a challenge for folks to do town meeting day once. It is a substantial difficulty and challenge for folks to do town meeting day twice. And the fact that 3 of our towns have already reached out and said, we get the situation that you're in, we want very much to work with you to get the numbers right, feels as an incredible show of support for someone who's been here for what I consider to be about 10 minutes. I feel like it's a reflection on Ms. Hannum and Ms. Bainbridge Jordan's new leadership style here, and I welcome and am very grateful to all of our towns who have already expressed that they are planning on doing it, and the other 2 towns that are considering doing it. It would be a privilege to be able to get this right the first time. And I also heard at last night's Finance Committee meeting, Ms. White from New Marlborough spoke up and in no uncertain terms said, if it has to go to July to get it right, then get it right in July. And hearing that kind of partnership and collaboration is really music to my ears in a really difficult time. So I do want to thank you on behalf of all of our faculty, staff, families, and students who I know are struggling under this news, and give you my word that we are going to work incredibly hard to get this right for our towns, so that it can be a budget that everybody is proud of, but also has full confidence in. And I think that's my superintendent's report.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that we could add on the letters and the notifications we received, all of those letters are making reference to the 5 towns have agreed. That was really how
Correct.
those letters
Correct.
opened.
Right.
And that's why we do anticipate a formal notification from the other 2 towns.
Correct.
Because that was, we know that they met, they know that they wrote this message collaboratively.
Indeed.
We are aware of that. Yes. Bonnie, you have a question?
No, it's a good, on the letter that you sent to Senator Moore,
Yes.
can you copy?
Oh, of course. I'd be happy to send
Yeah.
that to you. Sure.
Or that's
Absolutely.
model.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll do it right now.
R.S.D.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
Sure.
I agree with the fact that we got this kind of support. I know the letter I received, I assume everyone from Rhonda, the Bombard from Sheffield.
Well, I got an email.
Sheffield, right? I think it was to the Sheffield.
It was to the Sheffield.
It was to the Sheffield representatives.
Yes.
That was, to me, that was more of the informal
Yes.
notification to the Sheffield reps. It didn't go to everyone.
Okay.
And what I don't know is if Sheffield's writing a formal letter or if that was her notification. I haven't checked.
But I thought
Actually.
it expressed exactly, Brian, what you said.
Yeah.
What came out right center was that this was a collaboration.
No question.
To work
Yes.
on it together.
Yes, no
Yes.
question. Absolutely.
Yeah, good. Okay. All right. Well, thank you then. Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
So there's a
Sarah?
couple of big projects that is in top of the budget that I've been working on. I recently applied for a couple of grants to help support some of our work, mostly at the middle high school level. These grants were for. So I applied for the Genocide Education Grant. The Department of Education puts out a grant. There is a legal requirement that the state has put out that this is an important topic. And so I worked with our ELA department, our history department, and we also got a letter of support from UMass Amherst from their Institute for Holocaust, Genocide, and Memory Studies to work over the next 2 years to create PD specifically for our secondary high school and, our secondary history and ELA teachers to support this work. So hopefully we get that. And then I applied for the civics education grant, and we have a letter of support from our partner Transcend. And so this work will focus on particularly 8th and 10th grade students to help kind of build out a more robust civic studio hands-on civics experience because all 8th graders and 10th graders are required to do a hands-on civics project. So we'll keep looking at what funding sources come available and hopefully we can continue to add those. And that also was done with input from our social studies teachers who teach. The next thing that I did was we had PD the other day. So our teachers continued working in their pathways. I invited all of our ESPs for a workshop where together we talked about their experience. And if you want to take one, this is the feedback that I received. Their experience with PD this year, because I realized it kind of wasn't hitting all of the boxes and it wasn't really doing the job that it was meant to do. So we did a 4 corners activity where the ESPs get to talk to each other, kind of indicate where they were at, their experience. We did some brainstorming and coming up with what PD should look like, what PD should not look like. And so our ESPs are looking for support with behavioral concerns, trauma-informed practices, and just general support to help them work with their student. They really would like the opportunity for collaboration and to work together, not only with together themselves, but also together with the teachers. And that would really help kind of strengthen some of our educational practices. They're also looking for a hands-on PD relevant to either their role or their students. So really thinking about how are we offering PD for our early elementary school, kind of those middle grades, and then high school. And to keep it collaborative. And then to make sure that I accurately reflected the voice of our ESPs, I sent them this. and asked them to please review, and I got some feedback. Most of them, the feedback that I got was really positive. This accurately reflects how they feel. So we closed that loop. We talked about it at our leadership team today. And then at the bottom, just making sure as we're building our strategy for continuous improvement that we're looping and making connections. So this really aligns with our MTSS practice, collaboration, instructional alignment, and really meaningful applied learning. So that's what I've been up to.
Wow, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, this is very impressive. I really enjoy the ESP voices. You know, a few quotes from their feedback. That was great.
Yeah, no, I think that was really important to show.
To actually see that. And I appreciate the piece that after you did this, you said, ask them, does this reflect what you felt? Do you know what I mean? I thought that was a great step in your process.
Yeah, I want to make sure that, we're all, that shared leadership, right? And shared voice, and just making sure that what I'm saying is what they intended to say and to get that feedback. So I have to check it by this morning and make sure that I check their feedback, and here's our presentation.
Great. Thank you ever so much. Does anyone have any questions of Sarah? Yeah, Bonnie?
Just quick, do you know if we had any involvement with sort of like a day on the Hill for early college?
So there was a meeting at Westfield State. I don't know exactly what day. I can look. It was very recently, and Lindy went to represent us. Right. So that was their kind of convening. I know that she had some really positive conversations, and she got to, did she talk to someone?
She talked to the commissioner.
Yeah.
The commissioner was there.
Yep.
We've had our second round interview, for lack of a better word, with DESE around our early college application. And while they obviously can't tell us anything, I can tell you that we answered all the questions relatively easily, and our responses were received very well. We expect to be notified perhaps before the end of the school year. Keep your fingers crossed for DESE timelines, but perhaps late May, early June. And obviously, as soon as we know, if it's not a date for a school committee meeting, you'll be getting an email, lots of balloons, confetti, etc., ensuring that we're going to move forward with our new partnership.
And that's great. This is the first time I received something that really showed that this is a major priority by the Commonwealth and aiming for 100,000 students. And going through early college, I said yes.
And I think it's fair to say, and I obviously take zero credit, Southern Berkshire's been leading the way on this, and that was mentioned several times in our interview.
Great.
So the folks at DESE who are on the call with us know that this work has been going on here, has been very successful here. They're very proud of the work that's going on here. And so it was, as I said, it was an excellent call. Lindy has been a tremendous advocate, tremendous efforts to maintain this. Obviously, Jesse and the high school team have been great partners. I mean, this is, I will go out on a limb and say I would be surprised if we do not get positively notified. I've been wrong plenty of times before, but based simply on how the conversation went. And the fact that it was a conversation, not an inquisition, certainly led me to believe that we are a strong candidate for our partnership to be approved.
That's great.
I'd like to add to that too that DESE and the folks from higher ed who were on the call were really impressed with our team who was there for the interview. So it was myself, Dr. Riga, Jesse was on it, Dr. Bruno, two representatives from UMass Amherst, Lindy, as well as Ken Knox from Bard College, who is also helping us with the transition, and he'll also be part of our plans going forward. We're going to stay connected with the Early College Research Institute as well. So we think that kind of really speaks. And then when I reached out to UMass and said, I'm writing this grant, we'd like to work with you, they jumped right on it. So I think we have a really strong partnership that we're developing too. So that's really exciting.
Agreed.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you, Sarah. Greatly appreciate that. Student Services report.
So we're not prepared to have Dr. Bruno give a report because he's being the acting director, he's teaching, and he's still doing all of his responsibilities. But what I can do is share with you that we had second round interviews for the permanent position of Director of Student Services. I'm in the process of making reference calls and I hope to make a recommendation to the school committee, perhaps as early as next week if schedules permit, to enter into executive session with all of you to discuss salary parameters. There was a unanimous consensus from the second round interview as to who the next director of student support services should be. As I said, doing reference calls today and tomorrow, and consulted with legal counsel about the process and steps in order for us to proceed thoughtfully forward. So hopefully some more good news next week.
Good news too.
Indeed.
Great. Thank you. On new business, I put the first item is school committee governance and meeting format, and just a few comments. I guess maybe this is sort of an extended chair's report, but I'm interested in feedback on some of these thoughts. Thinking about initiating discussion about moving forward, turning a new page, how do we do things differently to better serve everyone in our district, starting with our students. So how do we do that? So I'm thinking about agendas. And I remember Art and I both went to MASC workshops last fall, thinking about how to be more efficient with our time. Clearly, we're in extraordinary times. We have had some exceptionally long meetings of late, but on a regular basis, 2 or 3 hours is really just too long. Our brains are fried somewhere in the middle of all that. So I'm thinking about how to possibly restructure agendas so that we even save the time, we're passing over this. If we know reports are not going to happen, perhaps you will not see them on the agenda if we know that for a fact. If subcommittees haven't met, they probably don't have a report unless the chair says, I do need that to be on because I need to discuss something. So we may be able to just physically make some adjustments there. My thought is that some agendas for regular meetings may appear to be short, but they might be very focused discussions. And I am thinking about Carl's policy subcommittee, for example. We're getting, we'll get back on track, but we're pretty close to the end. When we start reviewing all policies and things that we have worked on with Liz LaFond, our MASC field director, we can't just do that for 15 minutes and move on. We should dedicate time to try to do that. So you might find that some of these meetings have very targeted business sections of some of those things, and other things may not be listed. We're just not going to do that. That's one of the thoughts. We come up with some other ideas. We might try them out. It's a grand experiment to see how it goes. We want to be respectful with everybody's time, but also be diligent and thoughtful in all of our school committee responsibilities. And how do we balance that and not be in a meeting for 3 hours? We don't want to do that. So basically, I'm proposing kind of a refreshed way of doing business. So that's one section. And then thinking about meeting and board conduct, we heard during public comment some of the things that I was thinking about. We referenced previously about a month ago our norms and beliefs. And some of the words there that jump out to me: professional, mutual respect, ethical, open-minded, dignified, trust, patience with one another, active listening. And the one that I really like is hold ourselves and each other accountable for respectful discourse. So that, we can all have a shared responsibility for some of those pieces. I think that's important. I want us to try to remember, and nobody's perfect, but discussions through the chair. It's not self-directed between 2 or 3 members having a conversation. I'd like to have everyone have a chance to speak before any single person wants to speak a second or third time. I want to make sure that everybody's voices are heard. A reminder, the chair is the official spokesperson unless otherwise designated. Council is accessed through the chair. We want to avoid any repetition of questions and watch our expenses. We don't want 5 people asking the same question of council. That's really important. The last thing I want to suggest, and this would be more of a future agenda item, is that the school committee do a self-evaluation. I know that is something that MASC does support. They have several documents in that way. We need to try to figure out how to work together. If there's people that are interested in trying to put some tools together, I know Amy has talked to Liz about that and has some ideas, be it surveys, self-evaluation, some tools. But I could imagine like a workshop meeting, maybe in June, that where we actually try to review some pieces, maybe get some support from Liz, to help facilitate us. I don't exactly know what that would look like, but I would like to put that as a future agenda item that we do that. So those are kind of my things. Just you might see changes in agendas. We want to be mindful of our meeting and our board conduct, and that we perhaps should, it's a good time to start fresh and do a fresh board evaluation. So those are the three buckets that I wanted to share, and I'm open to suggestions or feedback. Bonnie, I see your hand.
Just, this was a while ago, but Glenn Kuchu did a great workshop with us. It was off campus, and it really, he had great support material that he gave us, and really went through the whole thing of positive behavior, working with each other, etc. You know, if anything, it should have, we took too much time having dinner, so that we didn't work as much, but it really, I thought it was good, and that really sparked a lot of people's thoughts. And the material was great. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No, exactly. And that's why I think they will be a great resource and partner with us. You know, I know Amy talked to Liz, and, you know, it's been on my radar. I have an MASC resource role of the chair booklet, you know, that I'm still kind of working my way through, and saw a couple tools. So it just occurred to me that there are things that can be helpful in that way.
And
So
the only
would like to do
question
that.
would be
Thank you, Chris.
whether doing it while those of us who are leaving are
Yeah.
still here, or do you want to wait? But that's something when you start discussing it.
I think it could be a two-part thing, and I think I said this to you, Bonnie, a long time ago, that I know that there are a few of you who've been with us and have great institutional knowledge and could probably impart some words of wisdoms, and I would love to be able to capture that, but certainly we will want to do something, you know, in December or January, because we do know there will be a number of new faces around this table. And so it will be important to not just do it once, like in June, and then not do it again.
Right.
We'll want to also do that as onboarding for
I'm
new
glad you're
people.
thinking that way.
That is my thought at any rate. So those are things that I've been thinking about. I don't know if anybody else has any other comments, but it is my, I'm sorry, I see Nancy's hand. Yeah, thanks, Chris, for pointing
All
out.
of that, I think also to Julie, I think that all of those things are in the school committee handbook. That's also in reference to some of the things that we heard on the from public comment. These are all in the handbook that you know, just we're not paying attention, and we've got to do that. So things like that, self-evaluation, we're supposed to be doing that every year. Those are also stuff. So maybe reviewing on all our cards, maybe sending out a copy, even though it's under the handbook is theoretically being updated, maybe sending out a copy of the handbook so that everybody can remember to just take a quick run through it.
Sure.
See whose jobs, what the jobs are that we're supposed to be doing, because I think there's still some that are not being, some things that are not being followed. All with good intentions, but there are things that are not being followed.
Right. Great, thank you, Nancy. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on that? I don't see anybody there. Okay, well, thank you then. We'll make sure we get that on a future agenda item, and we'll plan that out then. So next is to review and approve the 2026-27 academic calendar, which is in the packets.
So I would like to start by saying a sincere thank you to the SBREA, who partnered with us to give us good feedback. We initially put together two options so that folks could have something to chew on and to reflect on. And my feedback from the leadership of the SBREA matched the feedback of the leadership team in that this academic calendar that you have in front of you is what we are all thinking would be best for us. I will name the reality that Labor Day is as late as it can possibly be, which is why we sent out 2 options and asked our adults who do the work on a day-to-day basis what their thoughts were on that. And this is where we landed. So as you contemplate it, it looks pretty similar to what you see this year, what you saw this year. Notable exceptions are, with the winter holidays falling later in the week, we will go to school for the first couple of days that week. This past year, I think you'll recall, we had both full weeks off. We really couldn't justify that. But as such, we were able to make up a couple of days, and you'll see with no snow days, our last day of school would be Friday the 11th, and I already see Ms. Aldham with her fingers crossed for that.
Never happened. Mother Nature is not cooperating.
And this is not firmly set, only because I'm holding my breath that we will get through this next 2 weeks with no additional delays or days. But right now, if everything goes to plan, our last day of school would be Tuesday, June 23rd for this year. And as you can see, that is substantially different than Friday, June 11th for next year. Those of you in this room who have either been through school or are in school or teach school know that the later that you go in June, the substantially harder that it is. Not just for our students, but for our adults and for our families.
Yeah.
And so, again, I want to point to an excellent working relationship with the SBREA. They took the feedback to their membership. They shared the feedback. In fact, one person, I think it was Sarah, who's not here tonight, noticed that we had a mistake in option 2.
Yeah.
I think we had counted our days wrong. Of course, thank you to the math teacher for catching our mistake. But we didn't have to correct it because it was overwhelming that this should be the academic calendar for next year. I'd be happy to entertain questions if folks have questions. This honors the negotiated agreement as is. It has all of the PD days in as the new agreement requires. And again, we're all on this side of the table pretty supportive of it. So happy to answer questions if need be.
I'll just make a quick comment.
Please.
I took this and compared it to the current calendar that I kind of live by, and I'm like, why is there so much white space? And I'm like, oh, the school committee calendar's not
Not on it
invented
yet.
on it.
That's
Was
right.
not
It's not
invented
there
yet.
yet. Right.
I'm
We
like,
haven't
how
done
come
that
there's
part.
nothing?
We'll
So
start
I'm
here.
like, oh
Right.
yeah, but it looked very, very similar.
Yeah.
And I did notice the shift and said, oh, that was smart. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Had we, just for folks to know, option 2 included starting a full week later and would have brought us very close to that already announced date of June 23rd.
Yeah.
And I see Ms. Murray shaking her head. I felt
Yeah.
the same way.
Oh, no,
and it
that's
was pretty unanimous. So
Right, absolutely.
if you folks have no more questions, of course,
oh,
please. I'm sorry.
How does this compare with the rest of Berkshire counties? Do we have any idea?
So I got a couple of emails from families about that. And the way that I responded was, we, first and foremost, have to honor the negotiated agreement that we have with our teachers. And I think because of that, we can't necessarily line up with others unless they have the same specific days, professional development, et cetera, et cetera. We are open to seeing as we go forward if negotiated agreements lined up. And we could say, oh, we all have a common PD day on fill in the blank. That could potentially work. We discussed it as Berkshire County Superintendents in our November or December meeting, and that was the general gist, that everybody has different negotiated agreements, everybody has different days, so it would take potentially up to 18 months of prior planning to say, yes, we could all circle this day in, I'm just throwing out, 2029, where we could all aim for that one day, because that would line up with all of our negotiated agreements.
But in terms of, for example, the start date, this is
No idea.
probably.
I would say it's close. I mean,
yeah, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
I would guess
Yeah.
other schools are having similar conversations.
Yeah.
If they start that week later, closer to Labor Day, they'd be
They're gonna
going
be
later
going
in
just
June.
as late.
And I would guess that most educators would say, hey, could we end earlier in June rather than have the extended summer on this end? If I were to guess, but I can't speak on it.
Yeah.
Good question, though. Thank you.
Are there other questions on this? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the 2026-27 calendar.
I move to approve the 2026-27 academic calendar.
I second that.
And Miguel, okay, thank you. So a motion's been made by Amy, seconded by Miguel, to approve the 2026-27 academic calendar as presented. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jim?
Yes.
Amy? Barb?
I'm abstaining.
You're abstaining. Okay,
Yep.
Kim?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
And Nancy?
Yes.
And I think Carl, it looks like Carl had to step off for a moment, okay? Very good. The motion is, and Julie is approved, so the motion is approved by a majority.
Okay.
Okay. Next is the approval to participate in school choice FY27. And we have a handout here on the school choice participation plan. Yeah. Essentially, the law requires all districts to accept incoming school choice unless the school committee votes not to participate or votes to limit the number of incoming students. We must vote before June 1st, so Michelle's kept us on track for that. And basically, you know, that's pretty much it, unless people have questions. Amy?
I have a question. At first glance, it seems like there's not a reason to not participate in the program. It would help our attendance and it would help our finances. But I'm wondering, first, if I'm missing something, is that what it...
So if you, as a school committee, decide not to participate, you would essentially be saying you are not welcome to incoming students. Not participating in school choice does not prevent students from opting out of being a part of the education in Southern Berkshire. There are schools that would perhaps limit, say a school has a bubble in 4th grade. So perhaps they know that this year they might announce, we're not taking any school choice students next year in 5th grade because we do not have room for that. Short of that, I would recommend that the school committee approve so that if there are students who are interested in coming in, we are certainly open to accepting them.
Because the students will go out no matter what.
Correct. We can't, a vote to say no to this does not prevent students and their families from saying, I'd like to opt out and go elsewhere.
Perfect. And then my second part to that is, do we know how many students we are currently choicing in versus choicing out?
And I shared this with Amy because she sent this email this afternoon in advance. I logged on to the ELAR portal in order to look and was greeted with the following message. The portal is down from 5:30 to 10:30 for maintenance. So I would offer, if the school committee is okay with it, you can either punt from this meeting to the next because you have until June 1st, or you can approve and I will bring you updated numbers at the next school committee meeting. It's truly all of your choice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Bonnie?
We used to get, the principals would tell the superintendent if there were any grades where they felt they couldn't accept. So I'm assuming principals said, we'll take them.
We'll take
in
them.
any grade.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Okay. Kim?
Historically, our school choice numbers are actually choicing in are actually really low comparatively to other districts surrounding us. So I don't think it's ever been an issue to take outlying towns' children that choice in.
Right. Yeah.
There were a couple of years where, particularly in New Marlborough, they were so crammed and they could see what was coming along.
That was our 97 student year.
No, I wasn't around then for that. But, I know that Brian has the information from, you don't have to worry.
You don't.
Let them come.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all good.
97 students.
Great. Kim, excuse me, was that something to share for
I
everybody?
just said that was the 97 students were at New Marlborough that year. It was like all the classrooms happened to be
Filled.
We're full.
It wasn't
okay.
1990.
Very good.
Yeah, it wasn't
It was a long time ago.
It was
Okay.
97.
Thank you, thank you. Is someone interested in making a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Bonnie and Art. Okay, so we've got a motion to approve the 2026-27, or FY27 school choice participation. Any other comments or questions?
Carl's back on.
Carl is back. He's over on the corner here. Okay, so we will do a roll call vote then. Jim?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Julie, yes, I keep forgetting myself.
Oh,
Yeah, it's it's unanimous. Great. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. We're set with that piece. Next, I'll turn it over to the superintendent and open architects. We're going to talk about FY26, FY27, and the full school committee got the packet from the finance committee from last night. We felt it was important that everyone have the same information, and so I don't know, Dr. Ricker, shall we turn it
We're
over
going
to
to
TJ?
turn it right over to TJ
We'll
for
turn it over to
FY26.
TJ for an update. I don't know where you want to start, probably 26 if we go chronologically, yes?
Yeah, I'd like to start with the 26, year-to-date budget report that was requested by the school committee. If everyone has it, I can put it on the screen or we can go through it. But before I put it up, I want to just make sure the entire school committee and the public knows that this is directly from Infinite Visions. This is the budget as it was adopted by the school committee and implemented. We're going to look at income, the assessments, and just revenue. And then we're showing every line item in Infinite Visions to show where the numbers are ending up. Well, not ending up because we got to fix some stuff. But we wanted everyone to see everything. So when you might hear from the school folks that we are holding up requisitions, the answer is yes, we are, as we try to make sure there's money in the proper line items. And so if we get a requisition where there's no money or insufficient funds, we flag it, and then we reach out to the superintendent and say, or the department head and say, can you do a transfer and move money from somewhere else and to put it at the right line item? To me, that is good budgeting, good practice, best practice. So we've been doing that, and so you may have heard some rumblings that it's taking a minute, but yes, it's taking a minute, but we're being very, very deliberate in what we're doing and how we're going through each number. I don't feel comfortable in my fiduciary responsibility approving a requisition that may not have money. So I'd like to have the paperwork behind it that says we're going to do this transfer. And I would strongly encourage Southern Berkshire to attach these files into Infinite Vision so you have an audit record, an audit trail, and I think that is where we're heading. And I think this is just, I think we're feeling some of the growing pains as we're going to discuss about 26 and 27. But before I show anything, overall, I don't see any major issues that can't be overcome for the fiscal 26 budget. So we're going to be able to get to balance. We may have to use some school choice money. We may have to do, some other bigger offsets. We may have to do, we're going to map all that out. So I'm just showing you what's Infinite Visions, but we're getting the game plan together to land the plane, so to speak, for fiscal 26. I see a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Bonnie?
Questions?
Wait,
Well, just because you've used the term, the organization, Infinite Visions, could you please, because there are some people who've not been here before.
Yes, so Infinite Visions is your enterprise system of record for your accounting system. And that is where the budget flows through. So you have two systems primarily. You have Infinite Visions, where you do requisitions and your purchasing for goods and services, and some capital improvement stuff. And then you have Harper's, which is your payroll system. And so we look at both those systems to make sure we're doing the projections, but everything's purchased through Infinite Visions, and Harper's is inputted into Infinite Visions after payroll ends.
And does that
Okay.
work with your system?
It is gonna work with our system once we're up and running. We gotta roll and close out fiscal 25. I know I'm sure we'll talk about the E&D report this evening as well. So yeah, we're using everything in your system because that's the system of record.
Okay.
Thank you.
That makes good sense. Thank you. Good questions, Bonnie. So I think, a couple of things from finance from yesterday, just so that people in the audience who are looking at these packets, obviously understand, there were two different treasurer's certification papers on the top of the packet. One was dated March, one was the end of April, and that's when we changed our assessment near the end of the year, and there were motions made on town meeting floors to lower the town's assessments as to what was created. So that's where there was some discrepancy in terms of, which numbers are the towns paying, what's been assessed. We had figured out, New Marlboro, for example, figured out in January, we used the March system, they had overpaid slightly. They have made adjustments so that they'll be on track. So when the money comes in for the end of the year, they will have paid their full amount. It's just, they kind of front loaded a little bit and did it that way. So there were a few questions that were spotted there. And then there's the summary document where, the categories, and am I speaking this right? That on that 2-page summary document, TJ, those are listed through function codes? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it's through DESI function codes.
Okay. So
that ties to the end of year report that gets funded.
great, and then there is the full rollout, the line by line that is all there. So that's where 26. And I know there's been concerns about salaries, and I don't know if we projected all the way to the end of the year, but it sounds like we look at the bottom line and it's about 24% of the budget's left, and we're in the last quarter, so that math makes sense. So, and grants still do need to be applied.
Correct.
We do know that.
Correct. So that's the next phase of this. We've
Yes.
kind of focused on the FY26 year-to-date budget report and projection.
Yep.
We're finishing that up. We're looking at all funds approach. Are they looking at every funding source to offset the grants? I think it's kind of frustrating, not for Southern Berkshire, but when we give grant money back, I find that to be one of the more frustrating things that I see happen, because that's the money you applied for, and if you just didn't track it right, that there could be, you gotta give it back, and as long as we're on top of it, and that's a good thing. So
Yeah.
the key is get to zero and zero on all the grants you get, and
Yes.
not have to give money back to DESI.
Right.
But generally speaking, we'll be in pretty good shape.
Great. Yep. Yes.
TJ, in the review you've made so far, are there any grants that you see that are tracking where we would be in a position to give money back? Just out of curiosity, we hadn't talked about this yet, so I know I'm asking it on the fly.
All right, put me on the spot. I haven't seen anything that we can't make sure we're maxing out
Good.
by the time the grant terms end.
Yeah.
Which is typically 6:30, so we have time to make sure all the current grants we have are fully spent down. And that preserves, so the way you do it in general terms, you spend your odd pots of money first, so you spend your grants first, and then you try to preserve your general fund.
Right.
And then, obviously, general fund's the biggest piece, but as you offset to these grants, you free up money to pay for other things, or, it's E&D or free cash in communities that have free cash. That's how you kind of maximize all your resources.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone from school committee have a question, Kim?
TJ, can you explain why, again, the transfer over, which are creating some of the line items to have like a $200,000 negative balance, where like the paras line item, even though the money's there, it's just someplace else. When like New Marlboro Central has like 200,000 extra on their salary side in their school. Can you explain why that's happening?
Yeah, so in your chart of accounts in Infinite Visions, some of the money isn't lined up to where the payroll's hitting. So it, Infinite Visions is a Tyler product, and all the enterprise systems are the same. Payroll's always going to hit where the pay code is directed to go. So chances are you have payroll hitting, and if it's Paris as an example, it's hitting this one account, but technically needs to be reclassified to like the appropriate account. Or you need to do the other way, transfer the money to the right account. I think that is where the confusion is coming. Like the money's there, and it's just a matter of having the accounts lined up right. I know the superintendent and I have had a lot of conversations about clearing up the accounts, shrinking the number of accounts, streamlining the process, and it's just going to take time. Like this hasn't been the easiest process for any of us in this room. We all know that, and it just takes time to kind of put in good policies, procedures, best practices, and just kind of follow that. But that's generally why it works. So the money might be there, but it just may be hitting the wrong account. That's where the cleanup comes in.
Does anybody else have questions before I call on Kim again? Kim?
Can you also clarify about school choice being? The school choice is still sitting in the general fund, but all the revenue has been removed. So we still have money from school choice plus all the grants, which is someplace over $1 million something between all of it, which right now we're looking more like a 34% revenue to a 24% budget. So we're okay. So that where do you think do you think we might have all in either and a rollover to next year of funds, revenue?
Yes. So the question I think you're asking, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sorry.
We show it on the expense side, and we show it on the revenue side, so we calculate what it's actually coming in.
Yeah.
So as you look at what you're seeing, you're going to have a health and school choice balance that can be used to, like, school choice is one of the most flexible funding sources that we have in every school district. And that is an important piece. Like, so if there happens to be, like, I don't know if it's on the agenda, but we have the ESSER issue that's got to be addressed. And that will come to school choice. It's the easiest one to do. But it's there, and it should be a healthy balance. I don't know the exact number, but I can send that to you.
Even this.
Okay. Any other questions on FY20?
Do you want to explain the ESSER issue since he brought it up?
Yeah, I say brought it up. I was going to
Right.
say, yeah, that's what we,
Let me-
you want to talk a little bit about that?
I can pull up Jen's email, but go ahead. Yeah,
No, Superintendent, you can go first.
sure. It's all right. I have the
I do a
email.
lot of talking.
I have the email, and this may result, Madam Chair, in needing to amend the agenda to make a motion to approve this transfer. But let me go through it first with all of you.
Okay.
So this is from Jen Wisher, our fiscal analyst. So based on the revised budget and the project report cards in Ed grants, ESSER 3 was overspent. The report card shows that $5,760 was paid directly to MTRS meaning the professional staff salary line for the school psychologist was overspent by $4,158.08. We have the documents that I can forward to everyone on the school committee. But Open Architects recommends that a school committee take a vote to transfer the overpayment to school choice for transparency in order to get this done. This was brought to our attention within the past 2 weeks, unfortunately, and it has a deadline of April 10th. So
I guess we better do that
it is
tonight.
timely. We were able, thanks to Sarah's work, Jen's work, TJ's work, to get into this. We were able to reach out, get the credentials that we needed. Jen was able to dig and document, and as I said, I will forward this email to the entire school committee, and we'll have the documents ready for folks going forward. And are there any questions? I don't have, did you want to add
Yeah,
something,
what was the
Sarah?
dollar
I
amount?
got it.
Add that the Ed Grants portal is no longer being used.
Right, that's
We
why.
use GEMS. So
Right.
This is something that
Back.
was closed down. I think 2 years ago they stopped using Ed Grants and
Yes.
switched to GEMS.
Right.
And this report should have been filed in 2024.
Right. So I'll give folks if folks are inclined to do this, I'll read this and then somebody could say, make a motion as
Why don't we
such.
just make the motion so we know what it's for?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I'll
So
You can tell us the dollar amount, though. I would like that.
the dollar amount is $4,158.08.
And you're asking for it to be moved from where?
A motion to transfer the overpayment to school choice, so this can happen by the April 10th deadline.
To school choice. Okay. So
So let's.
I will entertain a motion that we amend our agenda.
Right.
Or we need to do that. I mean, I guess this could have been under budget transfers, but it slipped our mind.
Yes. I apologize.
Yeah.
Is that
No,
what
that's
you're
okay.
doing?
But I'd like to entertain,
About the amendment.
To move the agenda.
yeah, so I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the agenda to address the outstanding ESSER issue.
All right, and that's what Art just moved. I'll
You
second it.
moved, Bonnie seconded. All right, very good. Is there any discussion on amending the agenda? Okay, no, Jim,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Art,
Yep.
Kim,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
and Carl,
Yes.
and Julie, yes. So we will unanimously do that, and then we will add that agenda item to address the ESSER overpayment. So now would somebody like to make a motion that we want to approve this transfer from an overpayment to school choice?
I'd like to make a motion to transfer the overpayment from ESSER to school choice for
$58.08.
Second.
Okay, so Kim and Bonnie. All right, so we have that motion. Is there any other discussion on that?
Yes.
I look at Jim and he just says yes. I guess I don't have to say roll call. Amy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Kim?
Yes.
Bonnie? Yes. Everybody. Miguel?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
And is Nancy still there? Did she have to step away?
Yes.
Oh, you're there. You're still there. Okay, yes. And Julie, yes. All right, so we have taken care of that. Thank
All
you
right.
ever so
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you for, yes, bringing that all up again. Bonnie, question?
The question, I don't know, I guess it's for you, TJ, or if it's for Brian, the question of
Yeah.
what are we doing in what we're now doing for moving ahead to try to make sure this doesn't happen again?
So I can start to speak to that, and then TJ, you can have my back
Yeah, I'll take over what you got.
with any
Yeah.
more specifics.
Thank you.
So, one of the things that TJ has recommended and pointed out to us is that we're not taking full advantage of all the bells and whistles for Infinite Visions. Most specifically, there's a way that folks can scan in their documentation to get away from going to this person and handing this piece of paper in, signing this piece of paper over here, having it go down the line to Chris, who finally puts it into Infinite Visions. I will also add, with all respect, that that's not unique to finance here. We're still doing a lot of work with paper documents that have to be signed by Sarah, the teacher, then to me, then entered for for example, if Ms. Murray wants to take a course, we can be a little bit more efficient, but particularly for this, it's going to be number one, taking full advantage of what we can do with Infinite Visions, which will require some professional development and reminding folks how we can do this through our current system. But number two, simplifying the budget from the number of lines we have to the actual number of lines we need. And that's just an observation that by far this is the school district that I've served that has the largest number of budget lines in my 15 years. That's not a judgment, that's not it's good, that's not it's bad, it's simply an observation. The other part of it that TJ has talked about is having a paper trail for transfers within the function. Obviously, any transfers separate from the function would come to all of you. And we've already started with some paperwork because that's what we're comfortable with now. For example, Ed got a bill recently for, I want to say it's $4,000 for salt for this year. He didn't have a line for salt, but he has money elsewhere in his budget. We're going to make that transfer. My initials will go on it, and the bill will be paid. But those are things that did not exist currently. And so it's really just about, I would say, tightening up systems, being more deliberate with what we are doing when we are doing it, and ensuring that the paperwork goes with as it happens. And look, it's not unique to Southern Berkshire. Hey, I need the money for salt. This just came in. No problem. Go ahead, do it. Get me the paperwork later. Is good for paying the bill, but we forget to get the paperwork, and suddenly we don't know why we transferred $4,000 from custodial supplies to this line. Oh, wait, Ed, what was that? So it might, in essence, slow down the process at first, but ultimately will lead to a more efficient process, which gives us ways to track back and look at the reasons why. And ultimately, I think will lead to a more efficient system. TJ, how'd I do?
Good. The only thing I would add to that, just as relates to grants, this particular grant, is that if professional teachers are being paid out of the grant, two things are happening. The MTRS is taken off the top for the teacher retirement system, and then payroll's always going to hit. So if the grant runs out and it's not closed out, payroll's going to hit it. And that is essentially what's happening. Is that, okay, ESSER went away, it wasn't closed out quickly enough, and they didn't transfer the teacher or whatever, so that's why the deficit exists. And we are going to be much better, in a much better position by utilizing the system.
Yes.
And doing the payroll projections and making sure. And then even being strategic when you get the grant, because you can actually put other eligible expenses on the grant and not worry about the, extra MTRS payment, because a lot of districts don't realize that when they put teachers on it, that's taken away 10 to 15% of the grant right out of the gate because of how much they're paying for pension system. But if you put on capital and other stuff that's eligible, so it's just being a little more strategic, is going to be my recommendation anyway. Of like, what do we actually, what does the district truly need, and what can we put it on? Back to the offsets conversation. Let's offset it to the right grant and do something else. And just part of it, we'll leave it to the 27 conversation. Part of that's the conversation we're going to have in a few minutes, I believe, of how we're just making sure that if grants are questionable, we're putting them on the general fund to make a decision, not just assuming the grants never need it. So, sorry, Brian, how did I do?
I think it's what we've all talked about. Good team.
Okay. All right, so at this point, Bonnie, I think that your question about what are we trying to do has worked. And now just thinking about FY27, we know we've heard from towns that we have this window, this gift of time, as the superintendent references it. But we do, still have timelines to try to work forward and go forward with all of that. So we probably need to discuss what we want to do with that, what kind of timeline, is it reasonable for June? If we do that, then that means when do we have to have things ready? Do we think we will be able to have things ready? And then the other piece is talking about the town, we want to continue to do updates to the town, but every time we do the weekly update with TJ and team, that means we're taking time from them to actually do the work we need. So should maybe we consider that on a bi-weekly basis, in concert with finance committee meetings where here's the update, then we have a subsequent finance meeting for discussion. And if there's big news in the middle, we can obviously have updates along that. Those are some of the things we're thinking about how to do that. And again, that would be closely monitored over the next month, 6 weeks, to how to get us to where we need to get to, to the gate of getting things to a special town meeting. Kim,
Can I ask TJ a question?
regarding FY27?
Yes.
Okay.
TJ, just a thought. Would it be easier just to start fresh? Like just everything out, a clean slate, and then put in like a budget, start a budget, put in our contracted services and our obligations such as salaries, transportation, and make sure our offsets are included, and then start adding back in requests for increases and work our way forward with school committee oversight until we get to a comfortable level for the town's assessment, instead of trying to say, let's cut everything, let's do this, back away, back into it. I mean, I'm just saying, it makes sense to me that if we work as a whole, maybe we don't need certain things. I just don't, I want to see I don't want to see pink slips. I don't want to see our programs cut. I don't want to see, things go away that make us special, that make us who we are. And that's why I said, I think it's just easier to move forward, start at a level fund, our obligations that are set in stone first, bring back in the increases until we get to a level where we, feel comfortable, and then make a decision, maybe this stuff isn't necessary this year.
So, yes, that probably could be an easier approach. This year, the approach that we took, so there are three ways of doing public budget generally. There's zero-based budgeting, which you start from zero and build up and examine everything. That what do you want to fund and what do you want to pay for. There's incremental budgeting or maintenance-based budgeting, where it's called the level service budget, where it's what is the cost this year to pay for the same exact, or what's the cost next year to pay for the same exact level of service, that taking into account cost of living, taking into account COLAs, taking into account contracts. And then you have, kind of the budget where you get your wish list. And the wish list stuff comes because everyone's nervous that, Title I and all the entitlement grants are going down 15%. And all the different other funding sources are drying out. The state, revenue picture is a little more bleak than it has been in recent years. So they're like, all right, we might lose this grant, so we're going to throw this onto the general fund request. So short answer is yes, and we can go back to the level funded and rebuild. Sure. That wasn't the process we took when we sat with the department heads, but I think that might be where we're at or should be at. And it won't take a lot of effort to do that, because we'll just take what's in Infinite Visions, and start there. And then we have the build-up for personal services, which is causing some of the anxiety that everyone's feeling these days, because of steps and lanes and all that stuff. And that's where we're at. So, short answer is that if that is what the committee wants, we 100% can do it that way. And then we'll add back in. Add back in from there as the numbers go for all the offsets and all the other areas, grants and whatnot.
So question, TJ, if we were to look at something like that, I mean, would we, I mean, it sounds like Kim is suggesting, well, here's, we know what our contractual obligations, we know what our fixed costs are, we know where the health care increases are, and then build out from there. Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to envision what the process for the next month would look like.
It'd probably be more timely also.
I'm thinking about that in terms of, then maybe, we will want to have a finance committee meeting next week, which I wasn't thinking. I was thinking we want to have and review some of these lists, but
Can I just caution us for a second?
I do. The number of meetings we're having is
I
kind
totally
of going
agree,
crazy. But what?
Right. Could I offer? TJ, wouldn't we also need to zero in on E&D before we start building? I mean, I don't want to put, I think what Ms. Alcantara is recommending is a potential path forward, but I feel like, and this is just me, and I am obviously not speaking for you, the more that we ask our partner to change the process that they're currently in, two things happen. They have to reshuffle what they're currently doing for us. It means some of the requisitions that folks are waiting for aren't going to be gotten to or attended to. And it takes them off of one of the biggest items, which right now, for me at least, I'm not speaking for all of you, is nailing down E&D so that we can know if we need $3 to finish FY26 or $30,000 to finish FY26. That will then finalize, we know what E&D can be used for this year. Hopefully, it's zero. Hopefully, we can take all of E&D, whatever that number is, and apply it to FY27, which will give us a lot more flexibility, which will give folks who have been coming to these meetings every 2 weeks a little more, what did Ms. Zuko say, peace or comfort. But I would just offer to this group, we have asked a lot of our partner. We have definitely zigzagged for good reasons. Again, no judgment. I would offer something along the lines of what Ms. Hannum said, which is let's go to a bi-weekly meeting. Let's give our partner the time to unravel and finalize E&D. Again, the fiscal picture for the rest of FY26 looks very good. But any more zigzagging is going to result in more folks waiting for requisitions and purchase orders to be processed locally, and is going to take their eye off the ball of finalizing something else, which we know is very critical.
TJ, do you have thoughts on that before I call on Kim?
No, I do have thoughts on that. I do agree that, the zig and zagging and trying to figure it all out, but that's public budgeting in a nutshell for anyone who lives in this world. But I think it's doable on 2 tracks, which it would be the E&D we're still working on. We did the journal entries as requested by DLS, I think today. The gentleman that we work with, Nick, is off until Monday, so we're going to do a meeting with him Monday to go through it all to make sure we have it where they want it to be and where it's accurate and where they feel good about what's being submitted. So DLS is a great partner in this. They want it to be done too, but I just want to make sure. But the level of service, so the way we do it, the way I like to do it, we call it a pathway to balance. That maybe just be my term or consultant's term or whatever, where you do your budget. So say it's level service, and you're like, I'm going to take into account all the stuff, health insurance, pension, retirement, all that stuff, and I'm going to add that in. And then we do an adds, cuts list, where you have a column of stuff that you think you really want, and you have a column of stuff that you think you can live without, and then you have an affirmative conversation with the appropriate folks in the room saying, yes, we need to add these 3 teaching positions, or yes, we need to add, because there's grant on the way, we need to add something. But yes, we can live without some of this nice to have. So there's the need to have and there's the nice to have. That's usually what the add cuts list does. And it gives and it's worked so well for us in other districts, where it's like it just gives insight into every decision that's being made. And I can share it with the group, not now, but I can share it with the superintendent anyway, and say, here's how we do it. Here's how it looks. I mean, I just did it for 3 other communities, where it's like, I want to show everything, and I want notes in the column that says, yes, we made this decision, here's why. No, yes, or no, we didn't add because here's why. And then you look at it as what is the educational impact. And that really just tells the full story. And then it's like, you get the easy, we do easy, medium, hard. Easy is, yeah, we have a grant for this. Yeah, we're gonna do E&D for this. We're gonna do this. But you show the entire picture and full transparency, full open, and it's like, you can't refute when you see everything in front of you like that.
Do you feel it's possible to do that for us? Is that reasonable within the hours we have for you?
Your hours have been.
Well, I know we're probably overtaxing your hours, right? That's why I thought I was gonna kind of ask, like.
The contract, the beauty of us helping out, we don't charge by an hour. We're not an hourly rate company.
Oh, well, thank God. Sorry, that was levity. That just came out. Oh my God.
I want to go to hourly rate.
No, I like how you're billing us. Sorry, TJ. Okay.
Yes, we could do that. So, in order to do the level funded and all that stuff, we'll just pull that up into Visions, drop it in Excel, we'll do a pivot table. And then we'll go through with the superintendent and the team. All right, here's where we're at salary-wise, here we're at to all this other stuff. That is I would say relatively simple, but a pretty simple exercise where our team can pull that all together.
Okay.
And give a kind of a new baseline or a new vision or new view. And there's going to be, I mean, we had 2 scenarios. This will be 3 or 4, but there's going to be some level of decision making that's going to need to happen to get to where we need to be.
Right.
Revenue's dropping off, costs are going up, and it's just, it's not chicken little stuff here. I'm not saying the sky's falling, but we just need to get on the same page of like what we really want to accomplish as a school committee and what is the leadership team of the district want to accomplish.
Okay.
I think I have a very good sense of where it's going, but I think this exercise will be fun.
Could be good. Okay, there's several hands up here. Bonnie, then Nancy, then Amy.
Okay, so this is a question of what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, TJ, that you think it would be, I'm not going to use the word easy, it would be a clean way to go and that we could see things publicly. There would be clarity if you went and did the budget the way Kim is suggesting. Yet at the same time, I'm hearing from you, Brian, that there are certain things that we may not be able to accomplish if we go that way.
I mean, all I want to be able to do, from my perspective, and again, it's an observation, not a judgment. Mm-hmm. We've zigzagged several times in this process.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We've added meetings. We've added, in an effort to continue to be transparent, we want folks to know everything where we're going. I think if TJ's open to it, I would combine what Ms. Alcantara referenced with what Ms. Hannum referenced, go to a bi-weekly update, if you would consider that was your motion last week. Pair that, so that would be a Wednesday, with a finance committee meeting, and then a school committee meeting. So there would be 3 separate opportunities within about a 36-hour period for folks to be informed. And that if we had something during our regular weekly meeting with open archetypes that was of note that the town's school committee and faculty and staff would want to hear, we would commit to that as an email.
Right.
Because part of what I've observed is that with a weekly meeting and with the need to get documents out ahead of time, we've had delays in accomplishing critical tasks that everybody has asked for on a weekly basis. Hey TJ, where's E&D? Hey TJ, where's this? And his response to me, and I'm going to protect him here, is, what's the most important thing? We've zigzagged to this, we're pausing on this. We've zigzagged to this now, we're going to pause on this, and I'm going to keep picking on our teachers who relatively frequently email me and say, when are the POs going to be addressed? I'm not sure if I'm getting these supplies. And I can't very well say to Jen, hey Jen, get on these requisitions, because I know that there's been something else that we've asked Open Architects to do.
Okay, so given that we don't have a motion yet
Right, I'm
on the floor.
right.
No.
We're just
But-
talking. We're just talking.
Okay, this is just talking. It would seem to me that having a clean system that TJ seems to be quite comfortable with, and the fact that he could put notes next to it, which has been my thing,
That's been something.
and we could set priorities, and this would be clear going with the transparency, and then we're building it, because I think a lot of the zigging and zagging and whatever were all the where did this come from type of thing. I think separate from that is the issue of communication with the towns and how we do that in a more efficient way. But I think my personal perspective is the priority should be that we leave here with the best system for 27. And if this is the comfort level, but I totally get and agree with, let's figure out a better way.
Okay, Glenn, do you want to respond?
And I know others have questions.
Yeah.
All I would ask is that this be it, and we commit to this way
Yes.
forward, because again, I'm not standing in front of TJ. I just feel the pressure on both sides, because I want folks to get their requisitions if there's money. I want folks to get their requisitions if there's money that needs a transfer, and I want to be able to say to folks, there's no money, to just make it clear. So whatever you folks decide.
Look, let me ask you a question with that.
Sure.
Currently, for people to be able to get all of that, it's not just handled here internally.
It's not.
All right. So then that would have to be worked out in terms of, TJ was hearing what our priorities are.
And Jen hears what our priorities are too, because I'm in communication with her. But I can't very well say, Jen, what is it, a pencil sharpener?
It is.
Amy needs a pencil sharpener.
Oh my God!
Amy needs a pencil sharpener.
I'm going to Staples and bring you one tomorrow.
And TJ's.
I'm going to Staples.
Here we go. Everybody's going to
No, never mind.
But like,
Oh, God.
I can't nag Jen to get Amy a pencil sharpener when I know we're having a weekly budget meeting and they have to prepare documents and analyze fiscal 26. I jumped out of turn. I
Sure,
apologize.
it does. Okay, so we got to go back. Nancy and then Amy. Nancy?
TJ.
Yeah.
I think that this question actually goes to you. I know you can do all of these things. You have shown in your zigzagging capacity tremendous ability, you and your crew, to try to adjust meeting to what we think our events of the day are. What would work best for you and be most expeditious for the district, for Open Architects, and for getting the information to the town so that we can get this budget thing done? It's a future comment. But yeah, somewhere along the line, you get to say what you think is gonna work best.
I think if this is the final outcome, this will work well. And will be as open and honest and transparent as.
And better than what we
I'm not
did.
suggesting this process has to be, because this is.
But would it be better, but TJ, would it be better than what we are doing?
Yes,
I
that's
agree,
what he's
yes.
saying.
I do things.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
Nancy did a good job. That was similar to what I was going to ask. I guess my worry, but I guess Brian also addressed my worry, is that every time we come in here, there's a different option, and it's a little bit frustrating to not know about this ahead of time, and to be a little bit blindsided. So I guess then my question would be, what is the difference if we're concerned about knowing, getting little notes on the side or a little comment here and there? I don't understand. It seems to me like that would have been part of any process. You mentioned there's 3 different ways of doing it. And I find it hard to believe that, doing it the way that you're currently doing it would leave people without explanations. So help me understand, just for my peace of mind, what is in fact the actual difference, because I'm sure that everyone would get the comments on the side and the explanations the way that you're currently doing it.
That's not the game.
That's not, level funding is what we're talking about.
Yeah. If TJ,
I'm
we can
asking
ask
from
TJ.
TJ to explain to me the difference so that I can understand.
So this is, instead of starting from a budget build-up, the way that we have done it. So let me answer the question first. We absolutely can explain everything we're going to do, and I know it's going to be passed by the school committee, any of the scenarios. What this request is a way to say, don't build anything in, level fund it, then show the ads that need to be done, required by contract or cost of living or any of that. So that's the crux of this piece of it. So we did it where we're like, yeah, we're going to add it in and then we're going to cut it out. You're going to get the explanation out of it. I mean, that's, you know me now for 6-7 months, so you're going to get the explanation. It's just a matter of what process is cleaner to make sure everyone sees what we're doing. And, we backed into a 6% assessment, or we're backing into a 6% assessment level, and it's making people uncomfortable rather than showing what a budget might look like, where, hey, here's a level funded, and if you level fund, here's what it means. You're gonna have to cut, whatever, office paper, or anything else, but so level fund is the baseline, then you're adding in the pieces, but you're showing incrementally what you're adding in and why, and then you're making a decision to say, basically no to requests that have been made through. Sorry.
You keep going. It was just somebody on Zoom
Yeah, so
who unmuted.
it just gives you a process to say no. Like right now, it was put in because it was asked for, which is a fine process, but like we didn't have the luxury of time to whittle it down through our process of but the way it's being asked tonight, and we're okay with it, is okay with it, is level and then build it, just build it up, and then take the list of all the requested departments that came before the team and say yes or no. If we can afford it, you build it back. If we can't afford it, you say no.
Okay.
We don't.
Okay, Miguel?
TJ, does that process of building with a clean slate, does it still allow you to do the same forensic work on the current existing budget so you can uncover some of these issues of, the money coming from multiple buckets to pay a salary? Will it still allow you the same process to uncover everything so we don't, there aren't any hidden expenses later on?
Yeah, we should be able to do that. We're doing it as we go now, but if we find a minute to take a breath, we could probably do like what I would suggest. I think I may have suggested in previous meetings, a cleanup on where the money should go, and with the school committee voting on it, affirmatively saying, okay, we have money hitting in this account, but it should be this account. Let's move the money. Let's actually update Infinite Visions. Let's get it in the right place. That'll actually make next year that much easier.
So,
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Kim, do you still have a question, or was your question in the midst of something you've
It was
just
in
heard?
the midst of everything.
That you've heard?
I just wanted him to tell everybody that it's actually more streamlined for him. Now, my question is, TJ, do you think if we go this route that we may get it done quicker than the June deadline?
That's my hope.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe we could actually do it earlier in June.
Wants and what the committee decides.
Right.
Like, if the committee's gonna delegate it to the superintendent to report back to the committee, the superintendent and I and our teams can work together quickly and create it, and we just report back. I mean,
Okay.
Having the luxury of time makes me feel a little bit better, but I don't
Still urgency.
I don't feel that this is going to be a super heavy lift in the sense of adding anything to the schedule or the timing of the vote that needs to be done by the towns.
Okay. Okay. Bonnie, do you still have a question?
I think basically just that you answer it. If anything, it might save time. Correct?
Yeah.
It'll definitely save
It's the
time.
hope.
in
It's the
future.
hope.
All right, that's the hope.
That's
The
the
other thing is, please don't think that we want a 6% assessment.
No, of course not.
Agreed. That's
Okay.
if I understand the assignment, that's part of the reason
Yeah.
for the change.
Yeah.
So are
Is
we
that we're
ready
really
for a motion?
basically starting kind of from scratch
Should I make
on
a
that
motion
piece.
Are we ready for a motion?
I was gonna ask, do we feel we want that? Do we want to talk about timeline of how we do, or talk about a motion for this process and then figure out any extra meeting schedule minimally?
I think
But,
that should be, my
separate.
opinion. Let's
Separate.
make that a separate motion.
okay, very good.
To
And it can be a discussion to be
agree.
determined
Right.
as well. Okay, you feel ready to make a motion?
I'm gonna try.
Okay,
I would like to make a motion to start with a clean slate on FY '27. Level fund it, put in contractual obligations such as salary and transportation and any other things, set costs that we know of. Make sure our offsets are included, start putting back increases with school committee oversight until we get to a comfortable assessment for the towns that we all can agree upon.
Second.
okay, I can't repeat all that. So you have that in writing? Maybe we can
Yes.
make sure we pass that to Michelle for minutes. All right, so Kim has made the motion, Bonnie has seconded, essentially starting with a clean slate, FY '27, level funded, contractual obligations, building
No.
from there. I'm just gonna summarize.
Health insurance and
quantity.
things.
Yeah, all contractual.
And income.
Yes, and adding offsets and then go from there. Great. So, any other discussion? Please say no. Jim?
No.
No. I said don't ask, I said no for any more discussion. Please say no. No, I mean we want to pass this, Jim, so sorry.
Yes.
Yes, Amy?
Let's say
Yes.
finance, but
Yeah.
yes.
Art?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Yes.
Bonnie? Yes. Miguel?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Nancy?
Where'd you go?
Yes.
Oh, there she
Is
is.
she there? Okay,
she's
and
at the
she's over there. All right, thank you.
Julie?
Yes. Julie, yes. Yeah, we're all saying yes. Thank you. That was a hugely productive conversation.
It was.
I
It was quite
really,
good.
really appreciate all of that. Good
And
thinking all around.
I
So,
think I would make a motion now in terms of how we communicate in the upcoming 6 weeks to the community. And I would go with, let's see if I have them right, that we have once every 2 weeks an update on the process, and we do it in coordination or with the finance committee. And that we rely on the superintendent in interim periods to communicate through email,
Any major updates?
any major updates. Is that the essence of it?
yay.
That's my motion.
Second.
Okay, so Bonnie and Art, we've got a motion that will hold bi-weekly updates in coordination with finance committees. Superintendent will communicate any significant information in between those times. Any other discussion on that? Bonnie, Amy, I mean.
In coordination with the finance committee, does that mean at the same time or separate? So twice in one day?
Yeah, so we might have an OA update, then we have the
Right.
afternoon, and then have finance.
Right.
So we can hear the information of where we are and all of
And
that.
also it means that people who've been signing in from the field,
Yeah.
don't have to interrupt their day for 3 hours.
And this
Anyway.
is an update, not a formal.
Right, it
Correct.
would just be, a
Yeah.
listen in on the update of what we
Oh.
know, and then full discussion would be that finance.
Right.
Kind of like what we did yesterday. Okay.
Exactly what we did yesterday,
Kinda-
yes.
Yeah, and that was like a quick 30-minute
Yep.
update or something,
Yep.
and we discussed. Okay, excellent. Any other discussion or questions on that motion? All in favor, Jim? Amy?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Bonnie? Miguel?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Julie? Yes, unanimous. Thank you
Boom.
very much.
Thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
thank you. That,
That is.
that was working all through a
Nicely
lot
done.
of things. Thank
Nicely
you.
done,
Thank you
everybody.
very much. Yeah, well done, well done. So moving on to unfinished business, we have it's still kind of hanging out there, prospective school committee member
You and I
info.
were supposed to pick a date.
Yeah, you and I were supposed to get together on that. We didn't do it.
Right.
So it's still unfinished business, but I think we pass for now.
Please, let's
We'll
do
bring
it.
something back.
Right.
And we will go from there. So at this time, we're moving back into public comment. So do we have Kevin?
Look this.
Hi, Kevin Fish from Sandusfield. I know a couple things were unanimously voted on, but I wanted to comment on them. First, just the calendar. If there's any opportunity to switch the PD days in January and March, Wednesdays are ski days for the Butternut program, which then the kids don't get to ski that day, which is sort of a bummer.
Say those dates again, where you can.
In
I'm sorry, that's supposed to.
January, oops, sorry,
Well-
in January and March, if you could just consider maybe switching those to a Thursday or a Tuesday, it just allows the ski program to continue. The other is just with regards to the process. If it were me, I know you just voted on it and did it unanimously, but I would have tabled that and I would have debriefed with TJ after this is all said and done, meaning the budgets are all set, you've got your numbers to the towns, debriefed with him to ask him for his recommendations based on his experience with working with you. He's the expert, and from my impression, being at these meetings and hearing him, he knows his stuff, and I would just defer to his recommendations. Thanks.
All right. Is there any other public comment? There is not. Okay. Subcommittees, we're just running through, and this is where in the future you might see some condensed, no report for finance. We've been there, done that. Nancy, community relations.
I've been asked to hold on the budget newsletter. I still want articles tomorrow to me and possibly to Carrie, but we will wait for the actual publication.
Okay. I know policy has not met, and Carl's probably working on dates, personnel negotiation.
I have those things.
Okay, do you have those dates tonight, Carl?
Yes, I do.
Oh, goodness. All right.
Yeah, well, I've been wandering in the wilderness for too long, but the wilderness is looking a little bit tamer. In any event, these are the three closest dates that Liz has available, and I'd like, and this doesn't, it shouldn't, I don't want to take up the time of the committee now, but the members of the school committee should tell me their availability on no fewer than 2 of the 3 days. And the dates are April 20th, April 22nd, April 27th. A Monday, a Wednesday, a Monday.
Okay. So, Carl, can we ask the policy subcommittee people to email to you their availability of April 20th, 22nd, or 27th? Will that work?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It works.
Okay.
Now, one thing unrelated to that, Julie. Can I ask, there is, that I have a few minutes prior to adjournment to relate a cautionary tale that is quite disturbing to me, and I hope it will be to the rest of the committee. It's unrelated to policy, it's unrelated to subcommittees, but it is something that I discovered earlier today relating to, in general, relating to the school committee, and it really will take a very short period of time, but it's a warning, as I say, a cautionary tale, and I think that we shouldn't put it off for a future school committee meeting.
Okay, Carl, I'll make sure I get back to you when we get through this list. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Art?
When is vacation?
At the end of the day next Friday. So it's the 17th starts it, so 18th, 19th, week of the 20th.
That's what I was afraid of.
I think we're going to have to look to that. Carl, just thinking off the top of our head, we might have to go back to the drawing board because you've offered 2 dates the week that we have vacation. But I can connect with you, and I'll include the entire policy committee on trying to either look at the last week of April, first week of May, and we can include Liz on that email chain if that's okay with the committee.
It's okay with me. I mean, it might be that everybody will agree Monday the 27th works, unless we want.
We can do that.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that, you can do that, it's policy, it's Carl and Miguel, I think you went off of that, so it might be just us three.
Us three.
Okay, let us confirm that maybe we'll just target the 27th. Yeah, thank you, yeah, good point. Personnel and negotiations, I don't know.
And hopefully that will be finishing up.
What's up?
Working
on minutes.
Yeah, and she's still hunting. If somebody has it, if Brian, there's any place that a book. You haven't?
You found it.
Surrounded by books.
Yeah.
Which book are you looking for?
Pick one.
No, Sarah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The superintendent evaluation committee, I don't think has met, but I believe Bonnie and Miguel met. Is that right?
No, we haven't.
You're going to. Okay, good. Executive minutes review. I don't believe that committee has met.
No, we haven't met, but I'm going to send an email tomorrow, either later tonight or tomorrow morning, to the members because we have the email sent to me by Michelle disappeared. Not surprising, given who the recipient of that message was.
Okay.
That's me that we're talking about, by the way.
All right.
In case there was any doubt. So we're ready to go through the executive session minutes that haven't yet been reviewed for that subcommittee to make a recommendation as to releasing the minutes or not.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl. Handbook review. Nancy's shaking her head no. We know that committee has not met. We have a few future agenda items. The ones on the list, we're going to add the self-evaluation, the school choice update, and I want to bring back a request we've had to revisit the public comment policy. And so that's sort of on my radar to put on there. I do want to double check with the school committee if there is a possibility that we may need a special meeting next week. There may be some executive sessions coming up or a couple other bigger items. Is there availability like Tuesday or Wednesday? Would there be a preference? Do people know?
I would need 48 hours to warn for the executive session to discuss with you the Director of Student Support Services contract and get parameters. So Tuesday would be the earliest we could get something out tomorrow. If it's Wednesday, we can get it out Monday. But I'd love to.
I can do Wednesday.
You can do Wednesday. Are other people available on Wednesday? It would be Wednesday the 15th.
Wednesday, tax day.
Oh yeah, it's tax day.
Thursday.
What's that?
I'm only available on Thursday next week.
Okay, you're available on Thursday of next week. Are people available? Nancy, are you available Thursday? Yes, I'm looking.
She's got a thumbs up.
She's got a thumbs up.
So we would have a quorum for Thursday the 16th. One,
Yeah,
two,
okay.
three,
So-
4, 5, 6. Okay.
Okay, so
Thursday,
should we need to do that, if that works out, we'll target Thursday if we need to do that. Carl, we're gonna set the timer here. We're gonna see if your story can be done in less than 3 minutes.
There we go. Hit it.
Okay, so what is it that you need to share with us tonight?
Okay. Well, as I said, I called it a cautionary tale, and it mainly involves two things. One, rendering lay people rendering opinions that can have legal consequences, and why that almost never should be done. On March 27th, the Berkshire Edge printed a letter to the editor, and we printed it on the 28th and 29th, from a person who is a former member of the school committee, and even worse, a former chair, I think the headline or the subject line of the letter was clarifying the confusion at the R.S.D. or something like that. That's not verbatim. It was during the time that there was a considerable noise in the community about the resignation and the revoked, so to speak, resignation of Arthur and Kim as members of the school committee. And the letter said, the only way, because people in the community were talking about how can we make sure that you can't resign and have it be an idle threat. And that letter said, there is only one way that an elected official, meaning a member of this, in this instance, a member of the school committee, can be forced to leave the school committee, other than by resignation. And the letter said, a criminal conviction will do it. That's inaccurate. It is not the law. And now it is in the AI sphere. That is, if you search, how can you get rid of a Massachusetts, specifically a Massachusetts school committee member, that letter of March 27th comes up as part of AI's response. So now a letter that to be kind to the writer was irresponsible, and irresponsible in the extreme, is now part of AI's official ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence applications. It's now part of their official answer. That's all I have to say. Be careful, because now it's forever, really, forever a part of the lore of not LAW, but LORE on school committee membership and dismissal and all of that. The fact is that in the last 3 years,
Is that a time?
no fewer than, and I believe it's 4, but I know of 4 school committee members who were the subject of recall petitions. That is a known way. There are some limits on recall petitions, whether or not Southern Berkshire Regional School District has a recall option, and I'm not encouraging anybody to recall anybody. I happen to believe personally that the current 9 members of the school committee should remain to be the 9 members.
Okay, Carl, I do need you to kind of wrap up, please.
And make your
It's wrapped.
motion.
It's wrapped. Would you,
Make your
Carl,
favorite motion.
would you like to adjourn for us?
Yes, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you so much. Bonnie
Thank you,
has
Bonnie.
seconded. Roll call. Jim. Amy.
Yes.
Art.
Yep.
Kim.
Yes.
Bonnie. Miguel.
Yes.
Nancy. Carl. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for being here this evening.